Hey guys, what's going on? Today we're going to take a look at this knife. Actually, we're going to take it apart. We're going to take a look inside. This is the Kansept Reverie. This is a top flipper, front flipper, back flipper. I don't know what you want to call it. Made by Kansept Knives. And we're going to open it up and look inside. There you can see the markings on it. Lundquist design. This is a really kind of an interesting knife, and it's got a lot of neat stuff in it, and it's got some stuff in there that I wish other knife companies would do, and it's got a couple things that I wish Kansept Knives would stop doing. And one of those is, right away, is it does not have a captive pivot. And Kansept, stop making knives that don't have captive pivots, please. Please. I got another knife right here. The Goblin, and you'll notice that it's got a different screw on the other side. It usually has a black screw on both sides, but stripped out because it had a non-captive pivot, and it was so Loctited that it stripped the screw, and I used heat, and I used every trick I know of, and I know a lot of tricks, and none of them worked. And it ended up the screw so soft. And because they use a stinking teeny tiny T8 for a pivot screw when they've got room for lots bigger, it's stripped out. So review on that knife to come eventually, maybe, I don't know. I like that Goblin a lot, but I'm also kind of disappointed in it at the same time. So let's see. And speaking of Loctite, I didn't grab my Loctite, that's okay. Oh, there it is. All right. Here we go. Here is my Univibe or whatever it's called, something Vibe. Vibratite. It's Loctite gel form. And let's see if we can take this guy apart. I believe we can get everything apart on this side right here. My tools are really simple. I got Weehaw Torx bits. I got a little Weehaw driver. And then I got these snap-on drivers that were gifted to me a long time ago, and they're super nice, and I had them for 8 years, and they've held up through tons and tons, hundreds of knives. Hundreds of knives I've taken apart with these. So anyway, let's see. I've taken this apart before. I don't remember if I Loctited it back shut again. That's a T6, which we'll need here. And this little TV tray thing that I'm doing this on has a ridge around it, so screws can't roll away. So they may look like they're rolling away, but they can't get away. Let's take that off of there. And this is like a bolster lock. That's from my Carta bolsters. Yeah, there's 2 screws on this side. And then that screw there, and everything should come apart. And as you can see, one thing right away, this titanium frame / liner is super milled out, which is really nice. Let's see, that looks like a T8 right there. Is it? It is. And I did not Loctite it back together, which means I'm not going to Loctite it together after this one because there's no reason to, because it's been staying a long time. Okay. Oh, yeah, those. And those are... Oh, my gosh. I thought I took this apart before. Oh, those have the Vibra stuff on them. Yep, those are T6s also. You can see that the back spacer has like a built-in little lanyard pin thing in it, which is really cool. So you don't have to have a big old lanyard hole. and you can still use a lanyard. I think that's a really awesome thing that Kansept did there. Really tight. There's your bearings. And there's your bearing washer. And as you can see, that your bearings are ceramic in a plastic sleeve. Totally rust resistant. That's a little, sorry. There's your stop pin. It is part of the blade. And here's something that I think is really wonderful they did. If you look right there, let's zoom in a little bit on that. You see that little notch right there? That is a detent ball ramp. And what that does is when you go to close this knife, I'm gonna zoom in again, as you look right here on this, this is the steel interface, there's your ceramic detent ball. That ball will go on that ramp, and that makes it easier for the knife to close. So you don't get, let's see if I have the knife here. So you don't get this double clutch thing where the ball doesn't go up onto the blade. So if you've ever experienced a knife that doesn't have that double clutch thing, it's because it needs that detent ball ramp. And I wish more companies would do that. And as you can see, even on the lock bar side, there is lots of milling. So this knife is pretty lightweight. Not the biggest, hugest lock face interface, but this isn't a knife that you're going to beat on anyway. Has the interior cut out for the lock bar, which I really like. So that's cool. We're not even going to try to take that part of the pivot off if we don't have to. It doesn't really want to. So that's cool. If it doesn't want to, huh. I know it's not captive. I wonder why it's stuck there. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Let's clean her up. So as you guys like to know, I just like to use ordinary paper towel. I don't really need the whole thing. And I like to use EDCI solution. It says spray on, rub off, but I've had just as much luck just spraying it on a cloth and using it like that. And cleaning up the knife. Yeah, this is, I think his name's Jason Lundquist. Something like that. Really a neat design. Lots of locators, so your knife doesn't get side-to-side shift play. It stays nice and makes it a little easier to center. I've never had any centering issues with it. I've used this knife a lot because it carries really good. I'm kind of giving away some of my review stuff already, but that's okay. Look at the milling. So nicely milled. This is all milled out of a solid chunk of titanium, so they had to mill all this. And of course the holes are not really a huge deal, but then they milled this, and what little part of it is solid. Milled out that nice little opening there for your lock bar access. Really nice. Really nice. Your stop pin will pop out, it feels like. It is in there loose. It's not milled out of the blade like you get on some of these, or press fit. Some of these you get the stop pin right here is press fit. Not this one. As you can see, another nice little detail is how it's chamfered in the pivot hole right there. That also helps for a little bit of a smoother knife in operation. A lot of people don't know that. There used to be this guy, oh, what was his name? I don't remember, but he would, I had him do a knife for me. He would take hinders and do regrinds on hinders and also work on the action. This is before Hinder came out with bearing action, and that's one of the things he would do is he would chamfer the pivot holes so you got a little bit better action on your knife because you don't have quite as much friction. Less metal means less friction on the pivot bolt as it's swinging around. So even though it's just a little bit, every little bit that you can do to a knife to make it have a little better action helps. So even if it's just a little bit. And it's really surprising for the amount of machining and everything on a knife in this price range. I believe this knife goes for, this one, the micarta version, goes for like $180. You can get Mokutai ones with a Mokutai overlay and all this fancy stuff and pay a lot more, but this one isn't bad, just on its own. All right, let's see. Let's put it back together. Let's start over here. And today for lubrication, I am using liquid bearings. So, a little dab. You can find liquid bearings on Amazon. I am not even sure what's in it or what weight it is, but man, does it sure make a knife function really well. A little dab there. There, little dab there. We'll throw this other washer on there, and we'll take this other scale, and it looks good. It's just such really good machining on this. That's one thing Kansept did do really well. Some of the lock bar tension, and look at that, snapped right together, super easy. And these screws can't really go anywhere, not in there, so I'm going to not Loctite them, because even if they work loose, where are they going to go? I'm going to tighten them pretty good though. And there's already some Loctite still left in that hole. And I got to remember to speak up because I've noticed that my voice sometimes gets dulled out a little bit on these. That one goes in there. Give it a good torquing. And pivot screw. Oh, gee whiz. Doing this through the viewfinder of a phone is never easy. There we go. That almost feels cross-threaded. I think that's what happened on my my other Kansept knife. The Goblin, I believe they cross-threaded the pivot when they originally assembled it. Okay, I know that's too tight. Oh, maybe not. It could be a little tighter. Centering looks okay. Let's see. Very smooth, not quite centered. Loosen this up a bit. something. This right here will work, looks like. We're gonna take this here guitar pick, we're gonna shove it in there, and that's gonna hold that blade over to one side like that. And then we're gonna tighten it. Tighten that a little bit and pop this out. And now we have better, not quite perfect centering. Better. Still not too tight. It's very smooth. It's not like drop shutty smooth, but it's very smooth. Yeah, that looks good. That looks good, don't you think? And then we're gonna put this on here. And having to do that trick, what I did with the pick is, you could use paper or whatever, but it's something that happens on a lot of knives. So not just this knife, it's not the first time. And not just low quality knives either. I've had high quality knives do the same thing. I've got one very expensive knife that still won't center. It costs 350 bucks. Made in the United States, or actually made in Korea. Or not Korea, Taiwan still, same. Taiwan's an expensive high-end knife building country that's been building high-end knives. But anyway, that's a whole nother discussion, and that's all part of another video. Yeah, it's very smooth. It's not drop shutty, but it's very smooth. And no problem, as you can see, getting, whoops, over that detent ball, because you have that detent ramp, and it's actually getting smoother as I use it right now. So, yeah, there it is. The Kansept Reverie. There's a look inside. A lot of neat stuff inside that knife. A lot of good machining. Really cool. So, anyway, get your wife and kids, whatever. Get your family, get your dog, whatever you happen to have. And turn your TV off, get outside, and enjoy the outdoors. Toad sticker out.